crazy that could be possible. That's horrific, and that's bad for the cause.
Dumpy Don's crackdown on immigration is starting to reach new levels of depravity, as even Joe Rogan is saying that these new policies are horrific. Details are starting to emerge on who exactly was on those flights to the El Salvadorian gulag, and in classic Trump fashion, incompetency from the administration has led to multiple innocent people being sent to these prisons. And as a cherry on top, JD Vance is currently in a Twitter argument with Jon Favreau from Pod Save America over whether or not an innocent father from Maryland is actually a gang member. I'll show you guys that insane argument, but first, let's take a look at Joe Rogan decrying Trump's policies as horrific.
But that's also when mistakes get made.
Right.
And I think a human being plucked out of nowhere and ending up in a country he's never been in a maximum security prison with gang members, seems like a bad thing to happen to me.
It's horrific. It's horrific.
I don't think that should be controversial.
No, that's not controversial at all. And this is the thing, measured twice, cut once.
Yeah.
This is kind of crazy that could be possible. That's horrific, and that's bad for the cause. Like, the cause is, let's get the gang members out. Everybody agrees. But let's not innocent gay hairdressers get lumped up with the gangs, and then, how long before that guy can get out? Can we figure out how to get him out? Is there any plan in place to alert the authorities that they've made a horrible mistake and correct it?
Well, if you think about it from a government perspective, and this is where I think it gets quite sinister, is once you've done that, the incentive structure is never going to be to admit that and deal with it. The incentive structure is to say nothing, to cover it up, to pretend it didn't happen, right?
That is horrible.
So someone ends up in a black...
And that's exactly what they're doing, saying nothing, covering up, pretending like they're doing everything correctly, and actually anybody who was sent to the prison was meant to be sent to the prison, regardless of any federal judges telling them to turn their planes around, or immigration judges telling them not to deport people. Here's Donald Trump basically admitting that everything is going smoothly as far as he's concerned.
Mr. President, the U.S. military transferred 17 individuals to El Salvador overnight. Did you discuss with your team whether these deportations would run afoul of any recent court orders?
No, I do want to thank, however, the president. He has been unbelievable.
Of course, Trump wants to be a dictator and just declare these people terrorists and ship them off to some gulag, but that's not exactly how it works in a country with due process. Instead, he takes the time to praise the depraved El Salvadorian president, Nayib Bukele. And I feel like it's important to understand here that this prison is purposefully cruel. It's meant to be harsh and cold and evil because it's built for the worst gang members in the world.
It's tense and uncomfortable. But here, officials say comfort isn't meant to exist.
There's no mattresses, there's no sheets. You've got a toilet over here for them to go to the bathroom. You've got this basin here that they use to bathe themselves. And then you can see there's a barrel of water that they can drink from.
Sounds insanely harsh, right? You'd have to be a real monster to be sent to a place like that. But it turns out the Trump administration is sending any brown undocumented person they can find with any tattoo straight to El Salvadorian gulags. Immigration lawyer Aaron Reichlin Melnick posted that the ACLU obtained ICE's Alien Enemies Act validation guide, confirming that all it takes to be sent to rotten prison in El Salvador is 1, having a tattoo that an ICE officer says is a gang tattoo, and we'll get to what they consider gang tattoos in just a second, and 2, displaying logos, symbols, or clothes an officer says are gang signs. We'll also get to what clothing is considered gang affiliated in a second. ICE must first determine that they are Venezuelan over age 14, and then second find 8 points on a scoring guide that they made up. It's 4 points for having alleged gang tattoos and 4 points for displaying logos and symbols. So those 2 allegations make up the 8 points necessary to send someone straight to prison. This checklist is shocking. A person can be declared an alien enemy based only on communications with someone ICE says is a member and nothing more. By far the most terrifying part of this checklist is the association and symbolism section. Many experts say TDA does not use tattoos or gang signs like some other groups, and some of the tattoos ICE claims are TDA tattoos are things that many innocent people have, like roses. And the Trump administration, of course, is doubling down on this ridiculousness. We've seen a lot of Republicans recently make the insanely concerning argument that undocumented immigrants are not entitled to due process, that because they're in the country illegally, they do not fall under the jurisdiction of the United States and are somehow not protected by the Fourth Amendment. That argument completely ignores the fact that if that was true, you can't charge an undocumented migrant migrant with anything, because you're arguing that they essentially have diplomatic immunity. But this slippery slope of due process is allowing them to just round up randos and send them to prison. Here's Propaganda Barbie doubling down on this extrajudicial bullshit.
By simply having certain symbols in your tattoos and wearing certain streetwear brands, that alone is enough to get someone classified as TDA and sent to El Salvador.
That's not true, actually, Andrew.
According to this document, it is.
No, according to the Department of Homeland Security and the agents, have you talked to the agents who have been putting their lives on the line to detain these foreign terrorists who have been terrorizing our communities?
Okay, Third Reich bimbo, let's take a look at some of the people that these ICE agents are risking their lives to round up. One 28-year-old Venezuelan man was rounded up and sent to El Salvador even though he had no criminal record. His mother said, "My son is not a criminal. My son is a decent person. He went to the United States to work, to support his family. Was it the tattoos that led him to be tagged as a gang member? My husband has tattoos of his niece, who died of leukemia, and others with the name of his daughter and his mother. And an hourglass," she added, adding that it was a nod to the promise that he made to his daughter to return home soon. Oh yes, very clearly a dangerous gang member, Caroline Levitt. Another man named Mervin's family said that he also had a tattoo on his hand. That tattoo? It says, "Strong like mum." Wow, what a dangerous, violent felon this man must have been. Details are emerging about people who were sent to the prison through administrative errors. Reyes's deportation documents were filled with errors, including the suggestion that he was an associate of the Tren de Aragua gang. The government also uses someone else's last name in several parts of the document, identifies him with female pronouns, and uses two different unique identification numbers that immigration authorities use to keep track of individuals, raising questions about the reliability of Trump officials' accusations against him. John Favreau of Pod Save America called them out on this. Any comment on this, Mark Rubio, or how about you, JD Vance, Elon Musk? You just admitted to accidentally sending an innocent father from Maryland to a torture dungeon in El Salvador, and you refused to do anything about it. After being called out, JD Vance actually responded. He says, "My comment is that according to court documents you apparently didn't read, he was a convicted MS-13 gang member with no legal right to be here. My further comment is that it's gross to get fired up about gang members being deported while ignoring the citizens they victimize." John responded, "I read the filings, JD. Did you? This man was never charged or convicted of anything in any country." In 2019, he spent a year in ICE detention based only on his Chicago Bulls hoodie. That's right, wearing a Chicago Bulls hoodie is now justification for you being a gang member. And an informant who claimed he belonged to a gang in a state he's never lived in. This is why JD Vance, a judge under Donald Trump, released him and gave him legal protection from deportation to El Salvador. Legal protection that was promptly ignored as he was deported anyway. Your own Justice Department just admitted in a court doc that this removal was an error and an oversight. But you're also claiming that you have no power to correct this error because apparently you have no sway over the dictator who's getting $6 million from the US taxpayers to keep people in a dictator's foreign gulag. Kyle Cheney from Politico joined in. Vance here, mocking John Favreau for not reading the court filing, says the deported man was a convicted gang member. The court filing does not say that. It says he was denied bond in 2019 over an informant's claim that he was an MS-13. That's not a conviction. I mean, we're just finding egregious error after egregious error here. Like the gay hairdresser they also sent to the gulag because he had an autism awareness tattoo. I mean, if Trump is even losing Joe Rogan here, I don't think it's long before people start changing their minds on his immigration policy. I just hope it doesn't get worse and people don't start applauding him for sending random brown people with tattoos to prison. I'm Tony Hinderman with Really American, and I'll catch you next time.